it gives me the option to leave.
Please don't. I just got it set up. um, Hey, what's up? How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Thanks for having me as a guest.
No, thank you for being a guest. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into sort of some of the ins and outs of our family history, I guess. And
yeah.
Maybe we won't touch on some of the subjects that we sort of talked about the other day when we were figuring this out, but either way, yeah, it should be a good one. So thank you for doing this. What's it like out there in old sunny California?
It's still sunny. We were supposed to get rain today, and lo and behold, that didn't happen.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
I mean, it's San Diego.
California.
Like, yeah, you can't trust the weather forecast. But yeah, I mean, people are out and about, but I'm seeing everybody wearing masks.
I feel like they say that everywhere. Like every place is like, you can't trust the weather. It's like, yeah. Like in Colorado, they say like, oh, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah. Like, well, and I stopped checking the weather in Florida too, because when I lived there, it was like
always
rain. Yeah. Well, it was just weird because in Florida, things roll in really fast and they will roll out really fast, or like you will stare up at the sky and half will be blue and half will be black with clouds. Like Florida does not know what it's doing in any sense of the word ever.
It's like a chicken.
Sorry, anyone that lives in Florida, but like
it's like a chicken or the egg situation. Is the weather causing the craziness, or does the craziness cause the weather? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It actually just poured rain here in Colorado for the first time in a long time, so that's exciting.
It's real good because we're in a drought.
I feel like we're not doing too bad in Colorado. It was kind of a rainy
just
spring.
Like in a global sense, we're a little screwed, but it's fine. Well, this is
we're just
don't get me started on climate change because this will be a 5-hour podcast.
Oh God. All right, so we'll take that off the list of topics that we had planned out. Scratch that one out.
Existential doom.
Oh, I mean, we could die at any point. Yellowstone could blow up tomorrow.
I'm real close to the San Andreas Fault, so you know.
Yeah.
When it's your time, it's your time.
Yeah, and it's probably coming soon.
For most of us.
It kind of seems like
we got 7 years left, guys.
I'd say maximum. Yeah, probably.
No, literally, if we don't do anything about climate change, we have 7 years, and then it's all going downhill.
At that point, like we reach the threshold where like it's too late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Guess what my prediction is? We ain't gonna do shit.
Oh no.
There's no way it's gonna change. Even though like there's that kid, you know, like the floating trash pile in the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, the kid from the Netherlands that like invented a big
16-year-old kid who could like figure out how to like. We just maybe I don't know.
And there's so much cool stuff. Like there are species of mushroom and fungi that will break down oil, or maybe that's algae. But there are many natural things we can do to combat the things that.
I think I read something about a bacteria that could basically eat plastic and break down plastics.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I just lost you oh, there you go. You're back.
Hold on. I plugged something in. I should have done that while we were. You did all your tech stuff, and I didn't do anything.
I'm having cameras fail. I'm having everything go wrong, and you're just sitting there happy as a clam.
You know, I'm a guest. Unplugged. I don't have to take care of anything.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's more of like it's not a question of can we, but will we?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see, based on how at least our government's running, and our government runs a little bit better than a lot of the other ones in the world. The way our government likes to handle crises doesn't look good.
I mean, and it's just like, I think in the general sense, it's like, because it's not happening right now, because it's on the horizon. It's like
next week.
Yeah, exactly. We are a nation, we are a world of procrastinators. So
yeah, hardcore.
I saw something too that was really funny that was like, this pandemic is the worst group project I have ever been a part of.
Every single person involved is the kid who did nothing and just like got the easy A.
I feel like I'm trying to do the entire project and I cannot do it by myself.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just like, I mean, I've had friends like freaking out and like, technically there isn't a mask mandate. Certain companies can sort of, require you or like request that you wear a mask.
Yeah.
And my friend called me like freaking out, like, I'm getting so pissed off. Like, I try and tell people that you have to wear your mask and then they just don't listen. I'm just like, yeah, that's people, man.
Yeah.
Like, you can try
Humans
your
have
best.
not evolved very much past the like me state.
No, and if anything, I think we're devolving.
Well, and there's a psychologist that I really like where she talks about around ages, I want to say it's like age 3 and 4, you're in a like developmental psychological stage called egocentrism, where it's like you don't even understand or have the capabilities to know that there are other perspectives outside of your own. Mm-hmm. And so like her argument is like, we did not get past that state. Everyone is in the egocentric developmental phase still.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone, but most people.
A lot of people. And I don't think that social media and the internet's having any sort of positive effect towards that whatsoever.
No.
Says the guy who's doing a podcast. Look at me, notice me, everybody.
It's just an echo chamber. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Like even when I share things online, I'm just like, I realize that I am screaming into the void. Like I am not, and that's the problem. And that's one of the reasons why I got off social media for the most part, is because like, that is nothing but performance. It's not actionable. Like if you want to advocate for Black lives, if you want to advocate for climate change, like sharing something on Instagram probably isn't the most effective way to do it. So, and all it does is just make me mad.
Yeah. Well, and when the Black Lives Matters protests were like really going last year, and everyone was putting up the black picture.
Oh, the black square screwed everything up.
Well, because it ended up taking over the actual like movement, and every like hashtag that was involved just got flooded with black squares, and that was
so no one could find actual information.
Exactly, and I feel like that was done on purpose. I
feel like that was just white people trying to perform allyship, and it didn't.
The white people jumped on the trend, but my conspiracy thought. Yeah, definitely thumbs up for white people. We're killing it.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We've been doing so good for so long. We never do anything wrong.
No, never. And we're going to make sure we tell that to our kids in school.
Yeah, absolutely. White people are the best. Trump 2024. No, my conspiracy brain goes like, I feel like somebody started that trend, and then all the white guilt just like helped it grow into this thing. But I think somebody
and that's I don't even think that's necessarily a conspiracy theory, because like I cannot think of any actual activist that would be like, you know what we should do, guys?
Yeah,
we should post a black square. Like I know that was someone's idea who was not connected to the movement in any way, shape, or form. It was
definitely sort of like a almost like a disinformation campaign.
I just imagine an ignorant white woman being like, I'm supporting, I'm listening, I'm learning, I'm growing.
Is it a white woman's Instagram?
Some random quote from Lord of the Rings incorrectly attributed to Martin Luther King.
Oh my God. What was funny about the black square thing though, for me personally, I follow a page called I can't remember what it's called exactly, but it's a joke page, and it's supposedly Helen Keller, and all the pictures are just a black square, and it's just like, I got lost in the corn maze. How crazy is this, you guys? And so I started seeing those. I was like, wow, this Helen Keller idea is really taking off. This is crazy. And then I like looked into it. I was like, oh, that's a totally different thing.
Yeah. That would be
Um,
funny. You should go and just like hashtag Helen Keller on every single
oh, that'd
Black
be so
Square
good.
post.
Yeah, for real. Oh, I wish I had thought of that in the moment and just
Uh,
gone through and just like commented and put the hashtag in on every single one of them. That,
yeah, then you can write the algorithm. You can rewrite the algorithm and fix
ooh,
everything.
yeah. Yeah. Helen Keller matters. uh but yeah, white people have not been doing great recently.
I
I think
don't
it's
think white people have ever been doing great. I think we've just
oh,
been lying about
talk to the 1950s.
it.
I'm pretty sure they thought they were doing a-okay back then. Frank Sinatra, I think, was living the dream.
I mean, I think a lot of people think we're doing a-okay today, and it's like,
Right? Well, it's so crazy. I think part of it maybe comes from the succession of our last two presidents, minus Biden. But like when Obama was elected, so many people in this country were like, "Yeah, racism's over. Black
check.
people, yeah, we're not racist. We elected a black guy." Cut
Mm-hmm.
to 2016, we basically elect the exact opposite of a black guy, a rich billionaire.
Well, yeah, and like my thought on the 2016 election was I used the metaphor of like an infection and like almost like lancing a boil. Like the infection has been around the whole time,
Well, now
but
people
in
felt
Trump,
justified.
in Trump, it finally came to a head, and it was like, all right, we either let this like fester and we become septic and die, or we lance the boil, we drain it, it's gross, it's ugly, but everything comes to the surface. And
I agree.
TBD on which direction we're going still. I don't know.
My vote is somebody call Dr. Pimple Popper, because I think she could help out a whole lot with this. If we're
God, I
lancing
love those
boils,
videos.
I do too. Some of them
Not all
are,
of them.
yeah, some of them are just like, whoa, that's too
Some
much.
of them are a bit much, but I love me a good like little blackhead video.
The blackheads are the best.
Those are very satisfying.
I've always loved popping blackheads, especially when you get like the long ones where it just keeps going and it keeps going. You're just like, how much is in here? It's almost like those party snakes. Yeah, when you open up a jar.
The best is when you get one and it leaves a literal hole.
I don't think I've really gotten that before.
Man, those are.
Mine are all like.
I think I
small.
had a random one on like my thumb, and I remember there was a hole in my thumb, and I was like, whoa.
It's really weird on the Dr. Pimple Popper ones when it leaves like a big hole. And you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's going to take a while to heal.
It's real satisfying.
Also,
I don't follow her because I need to be in the mindset. Like, I don't want to just like have a cyst in my feed when I'm not ready for it.
You're eating dinner and then just all of a sudden you're just like,
right?
ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's not what I need to see. So, but like every
this
once
angel
in a while,
hair pasta is no longer for me.
Yeah, but sometimes I'll be like, you know what I need to calm me down? I just need to watch a dilated pour of Weiner.
Mm. They are. It's strange how satisfying they are. But I'm also. I think it's only for like certain people. Like,
well, and I think because our mom
would always pop our zits.
Oh yeah, all the time. She would just be like, "Let me get it."
Yeah. Well, then, like technically, you're not supposed to do that.
No, you're not.
Yeah, and mom would just be like, "Get over here," and just
yeah.
And sometimes when they would hurt so bad, sometimes you're like, "Mom, just leave it alone."
She's like, "Nope, I almost got it."
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
She's like, "I see it. I see it."
One time I got a piece of lead stuck in my leg.
Like, is that from when like your friend jammed a pencil into you?
Oh, that was a different time.
Oh, okay.
So there's two times where it happened. This one was even dumber. I was sitting in class bored and I was throwing my pencil up in the air and catching it between my legs. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. And every time for like 10 in a row, it landed like vertical. And then one time it just went horizontal. I just went shink and just like pulled both my knees together and it just like stabbed me like right above the knee on the inner thigh.
Ugh.
And then like mom was like, "You're going to get lead poisoning. We got to get that out of there." I know it's great. I mean, she didn't actually say that, but she was like, "We need to get that out of there." So she ended up pouring hydrogen peroxide on it and then like going in there with tweezers and like a little scalpel and like cutting it to get.
I mean, that was the benefit of having a nurse for a mother.
It's true.
We got exceptional medical care in certain circumstances.
That's definitely true. But then also, I didn't want to take that goddamn flu shot. You'd have
What
to.
flu shot?
Oh, any of them. When I was a kid, do you not
Oh,
remember? I would run from her.
oh,
She'd
really?
bring the flu shots home to give us, and I was so scared of needles at the time that I was just like, no, and I would like run around the house trying to avoid getting a fucking flu shot.
Oh man, I don't remember that.
Really?
I have a very horrible memory though.
I do too, but that was very traumatic. Actually, I didn't really remember it until Mom reminded me of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, I actually do kind of remember that.
Yeah, and that's actually like stuff that I'm working on in therapy, because the idea is like, no, all your memories are there. It's just whether or not your brain has the capacity to let you remember the things.
Whether or not you've intentionally blocked them from your memory.
Yeah. Am I
It's like,
repressing this?
yeah.
Like,
I'm just gonna. That's very Irish of us. It's just like, I'm gonna take this thing that was definitely a huge traumatic experience, and I'm just gonna push it down real quick. Push it down, push it back, hide it in the garage.
well, yeah, we were Irish, and then we technically also grew up Baptist.
Yeah.
So, we've got that double whammy.
Yeah.
Could be worse, could be Irish Catholic.
For sure. Definitely. But I feel like in the house, I don't know. I never really, when I was a little kid, I sort of bought into religion, but I feel like I grew out of it pretty quick. And I only was willing to go to church so I could, at the end of church, when we would rip up all the duct tape from all the wires,
Mm-hmm.
me and Ryan would, my best friend Ryan growing up.
Yeah.
I know, weird. We would roll that up into a ball and just play catch with it. So I was like, oh, I get to go play catch with my friend. And then just be sitting in church or Sunday school. Like,
Yeah, I never wanted to go to church either. And I remember the thing that got me was like, I would go to like the daycare areas and I'd be like, can I just like play with the toddlers? And that would be what I wanted to do during church.
Yeah, definitely not listen.
No.
Yeah.
No. All I remember is one sermon where they were talking about, they did the toothpaste thing, where it's like you squeeze a tube of toothpaste and then they're like, okay, put it back in. And then
it's like, oh, I could get a turkey baster and I could end up getting all that in there. Like, I could make that happen. That's where my brain would always go. I'd be like, oh no, it would take a long time, but I could get all that back in there.
It would be a lot of effort.
Oh no, yeah, but you gave me a challenge. Here's how I present. I can fix that. I can do it. It's not efficient. It's
I think
not
you
smart.
missed the metaphor then.
Exactly. I definitely took things way too literally. I was just like, oh, no. I mean, like, I got the metaphor. Like, I understand, but also
what
my
do you
brain.
Want? I'm wearing a Sabbath t-shirt. It's the Sabbath.
Yep. Yeah, that's for people who don't know that reference. My youth group was playing music for the church, like for the whole congregation or whatever. And I just always wore band t-shirts. And I just happened to choose a Black Sabbath t-shirt for going to church and playing music in front of everyone. And I didn't think anything was wrong with that. I was like, this is my favorite band. It's like this, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, fucking, oh, who's that fucking band? Oh my God.
Which
Run
band?
to the hills. Iron Maiden. God damn it. I can't believe I fucking spaced on Iron Maiden. Jesus, I'm a poser. No, but I was like, oh, this is just like one of my favorite bands. I'm definitely going to wear this shirt. This shirt's awesome. And then ended up just covering up the word black. So then my t-shirt just said Sabbath. So then I was really just celebrating God. That's the other thing is like I went to youth group for like the youth band.
Mm-hmm.
I did the same thing in high school. It's like, if I have to be here, I'm just going to take every single music class that I can and try and have fun.
Oh my God. Remember when they would make us go to that youth group and we watched all of the Lord of the Rings and they turned it into like a religion metaphor?
Oh, well, actually that's probably one of the better things that they did, because the Lord of the Rings is very applicable to Christianity.
Is that what Tolkien did though?
Oh,
Was he purposely doing that?
Not so much in the narrative of the Lord of the Rings, but the world that he sets up in the Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hold on, I've got a drop for this.
Nerd alert!
In the Silmarillion, where he sets up the actual world itself, Basically, Iluvatar is the grand mover, the creator of all things. Iluvatar is basically God. And then he has sort of, it's more Catholic than like Baptist or like Protestant style Christianity, but like,
Mhm.
you know how there's like the archangels and like there's all these tiers of different angels within like the Christian lore. It's set up the exact same way with the Valar. And then what's this? The level below that, like Gandalf is technically essentially an angel or an angelic being. Morgoth is the devil. He's basically Lucifer.
Okay.
So Iluvatar creates Middle Earth by singing a song and having all of the Valar harmonize with him to create one song. And Morgoth decides he wants to change his melody and sort of create sort of his own song. And so then he gets banished to Middle Earth, and then the saga
He got
continues.
kicked out of choir.
Yeah, exactly. He got kicked out of the angelic choir. Yeah, basically. But it's like very similar to the story of Lucifer. And then Morgoth brought sort of like what could be sort of taken as a metaphor of knowledge and like teaching. He created the Balrog, the big fiery fucking horn guy. Balrog. So actually, like, the Lord of the Rings is very deeply rooted within like a metaphor for Christianity.
Okay, all right.
That's actually, and also plus I got to just watch the Lord of the Rings again.
Right.
Fuck yeah, I'm totally down for that.
I think my issue with it at the time was I thought they were just like hopping on the zeitgeist to shove more God down our throats.
Yeah, well, they definitely were. That was they were, but they did it in an actually fairly accurate setting.
Okay,
I guess so.
All right.
It'd be way weirder. It'd be way weirder if they did it with like a Harry Potter. Although you could read that into Harry Potter too. He sort of dies and gets resurrected almost, or I mean, that's the thing with metaphors is you can read the metaphor into absolutely anything you want it to be. So you can, the person that is obsessed with the Christian faith and like the idea of God, they can find it in everything. The same way.
There's a big element of confirmation bias, I'm sure, too, in everything.
Totally. It's the same thing with like conspiracy theorists. They'll find the thread that pulls on the sweater. They'll find it. Yeah. Even if there isn't one there, they will find it because they'll just find the coincidence and go like, all right, we're going to run with this. That's just kind of how people think.
Yeah. I mean, we're biologically wired to think in stories. So we create narratives. That's literally how we think.
Yeah. And for the most part, they all end up being not necessarily linear stories, but having similar elements. You know, the hero's journey and like the circle, you know, all the way back to the return to the home and you have the conflict. Yeah. I mean, but that's, if you believe like mainstream archaeologists and you think that civilization's only been around for 6,000 years, supposedly, I mean, like before we had writing, that's how it went. I think I saw something the other day that Socrates was very opposed to writing things down because he thought it would affect people's like memory and be able to sort of like, because even in ancient Greece, you would have to recite like the whole story. Like you'd have to be able to recite the entire Iliad because there wasn't a convenient way of writing things down. So whoever was telling the story had to remember every single stanza of the Iliad or the Odyssey or anything like that. Which
and now I don't even remember my multiplication tables because I have a phone in my pocket, so I can just put it in my phone.
Yep. Or phone numbers. I have like maybe 5 memorized.
Yeah, I don't even think I have your number memorized.
I was about to say your number to confirm, but I realized that that's a bad idea to do on the podcast. So we're just not going to go there. I think I have yours memorized.
Good thing we're not live. Like there can be edits.
Yeah, that's
true. Yeah, like
I also do have this function.
Oh, nice.
Bunch of good drops. I got a bunch of good drops. Here we go.
What's that from?
The Bia, that's from Chappelle's show when he was making fun of the guy in 2000 that was running for president. It was like, we're going to Vermont, and then we're going to Oregon, and then we're going all the way to the White House.
That was a very accurate sound. That was That sounded exactly like Howard Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
How bonkers is it that like back like 20 years ago, that's what gets a dude like disqualified from a presidential race? Is just like a weird sounding scream. And now it's like, oh no, we can have like sexual abusers in the White House. It's fine. Like,
I still think that for the most part, it just, if it catches fire, like Mitt Romney got caught like eating a hot dog and with a picture that looked weird, and then everyone went like, oh.
Yeah.
I think Trump had a way of just acknowledging it but not giving anything any credence in such a weird way.
Yeah, but
He'd just be like, yeah, that's what I do.
He really oversaturated the market. Like, instead of the one picture of the hot dog, it's like, Jesus Christ, there are 8 photos a day of this man staring at an eclipse or shouting at a kid who's on the White House lawn. Like, how many? Like, it's just one meme after the other.
Well, and like the 24-hour news cycle revolves on this, like, the new thing.
And
when you're constantly giving them a new thing, they just forget. It's like a kid with ADHD. They're just like on to the next. Oh, and then this happened, and then like by the time the week's over, you forgot about how crazy it was last week.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview the other day about Afghanistan, and it was just like, well, Americans have very short memories. So if this gets resolved in a few months, no one's going to care in 2022 for the election. Like, you know, we are a country of gerbils.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even 2020 itself goes to show that. Do you remember that half of Australia was just on fire? We almost had World War III. Like, we had all these, we had all these crazy things that happened in like January, February of 2020, and nobody remembers it. There was another really crazy one that happened in like early March or something, but there was like 3.
Kobe died.
Oh yeah, Kobe died.
That was a good one.
Yeah, there was
look. If we want to talk about trauma and compartmentalization, all things 2020 can fit in that.
It was honestly like sensory overload.
It was.
For like a good 6 or 7 months straight. And then it kind of went back to the quote unquote new normal for a while. Yeah. And things chilled out, I feel like, for the most part.
And then we hit election.
Yeah. Ah, man.
Yeah, I think that the moments in between, like at the end of the summer when Black Lives Matter had started to fizzle, like, I hate to say that word, but like a lot of Americans stopped caring. Yeah. And then right before like October. So really, maybe we had a break in September.
Yeah, we got like a good month.
Yeah,
a good month of just like, all right, let's all take a breath. And then just
I can leave my house briefly.
Right. I had to work through that whole summer. I guess I didn't have to, but I committed to working for that whole summer. And dude, delivering furniture in like 105 degrees when you have to wear a mask, that was brutal.
No, I can't even imagine if I still had to work outside in the summer heat with a mask.
Dude, yeah.
I do not envy anyone that had to do that.
No.
And bless you if you are a poor retail worker that has to deal with people screaming at you every day. Bless you.
Apparently somebody that I used to work with at the place I used to work had to kick I can't remember. I think he was like a nearly naked homeless man out. He grabbed like an ice pick, not like an ice pick like climbing chip, but like an ice chopper for like chopping the driveway and shit. And apparently he had to grab that and be like, you need to get the fuck out of here right now. Ooh. Like, wow, I'm so glad I didn't have to be there for that. Man,
these poor retail workers, these essential workers who we pay garbage, the things that they've had to deal with.
Well, and especially like the grocery store workers who they never got to stop. And especially like in that sort of weird time where like Fauci was saying like, oh, don't wear a mask, masks aren't effective, and then now everyone has to wear a mask. it was just
America gets a D- on messaging.
Oh yeah, we're the worst
It was
communicators.
very confusing. It was a very confusing time.
Well, and not only, I mean, it was confusing, but nobody was on the same page for like 2 months.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and
like,
I think like we knew nothing about the virus, so it's like, I don't know, can it live on surfaces? I don't know. How long does it linger in the air? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, at first, like, it wasn't that big of a deal, and then New York started just like having piles of bodies outside.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, oh shit, this is real. This is real deal. And then once we learned that, you know, intubation is not what people needed, and you know, found better ways to treat things, then it was like, okay, we can sort of take a deep breath. But even when it started, like, in my head, I was like, cool, I get a paid 2 weeks off, and then I'll be back to work.
I remember the day that our office closed. They were like, well, you know, we're looking at the other companies, and Google and Amazon are all going to remote work for a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 2 weeks, and we're going to work from home for 2 weeks. And we were like, okay, bye everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. And lo and behold, I still have not been back to the office.
Oh, still not at all?
No.
Wow.
They were going to open it they did a bunch of renovations, but we've also streamlined the work from home stuff enough that like we don't have to go into the office. And they did a bunch of renovations so that it would be COVID safe and like abide by, you know, CDC regulations when we get back. And so they had set a tentative date for September 6th. And then lo and behold, Miss Delta enters the chat. And now they're like, I don't think we're going to open. Yeah.
Well, and I mean, hopefully a lot of businesses realize that, like, yeah, you don't really need everyone to be in-house.
No.
There's certain
you
things
don't
that
need everybody to commute. Like, you don't need to force them to waste more time in their day to get to an office. Like even still, like, I mean, I still sit through meetings where I'm just like, this could have been an email. Why are we having a meeting right now? But, you know, it's just like, it's been a real shift in mindset.
Yeah. I mean, why do you think I started a podcast? I can do this from home.
Well, and like, yeah, like now we're doing a podcast remote. Like you can literally, the world has discovered that you can do anything from anywhere.
It's true. Jeffrey Bezos figured that out a lot quicker than the rest of us. Just going like, oh, you need groceries? You can just do that from home. Oh, you need some toilet paper? That was also nuts. The crazy thing was when that started, when like we kind of first shut down, I genuinely just needed toilet paper. I was on my last roll, and I was just like, guys, I just actually need this. I was just going to buy like a thing. I was going to buy like 6 rolls or something, or 8 rolls. That's all I needed. And everything was gone except for like the gas station single ply special.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
Well, and what's heartbreaking is like, you know, when a single mom who lives paycheck to paycheck and doesn't have the money to panic buy 40 roll, like bulk rolls of toilet paper. And then she's like, hi guys, I don't have the money to do this. Please leave some for the rest of us.
I'm on food stamps and they don't come until Tuesday. Can you please just leave a couple things?
Yeah.
And also, toilet paper is not, it's almost a luxury item. You don't need it because do you know what most bathrooms have right next to the toilet? A fucking shower.
What do you mean both, like throughout the world?
No, I mean like in America. In like, you know, if anybody who has a place that has a bathroom,
oh, I see.
That bathroom also has a shower in it for the most part. Or you at least have one bathroom that has a shower in it. And so like, I'm just saying worst case scenario, if you had to, you can do what's called shit to shower. And you can just wash your ass.
Like, I remember when the whole toilet paper thing was happening, Trevor Noah was like, hi guys, I'm from Africa.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you now, you don't need toilet paper.
Yeah.
I think Dave Chappelle had a joke where he was like, this is not a virus that affects your ass. Oh no, Dave Chappelle was sympathetic because he was like, you just don't want an itchy asshole. When everything's going wrong, nothing makes it worse than having an itchy asshole.
That is true. But usually I feel like the better solution to an itchy asshole, because sometimes the itchy asshole is maybe from like toilet paper dingleberries.
Oh my God.
Sometimes. And it clears that up pretty quick. A shower and some soap.
Okay, let Nubbin know.
Oh, that's a whole different story. Those dingleberries are they're permaberries. Permadingles. Permadingles.
Permadingles. Permadingles. TM.
That sounds like a terrible knockoff for Pringles. Permadingles.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh Jesus, we just had a catastrophe.
Please edit that out. Please edit that out.
That's staying in for sure.
No.
I'll take a look. I'll see what I can do. No, that was a crazy weird time, and I still don't think the country or like the world is at all healed from it.
Well, because it's still happening.
It is still happening, but just the trauma of like, because like, I mean, I felt it pretty aggressively because I live alone.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I saw maybe a couple friends during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And like when again, we've talked about this before, but going to the Bo Burnham's new Netflix special, Inside, I very much sympathized. Like that came out obviously way later, but watching it brought back the memories of like when you're truly just alone for 6 weeks and all you can do is like call and like FaceTime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the most sort of interaction you can get. Things get a little crazy and you start doing some weird shit. I
believe it. I feel that's one of the things that I'm like so grateful for is like I quarantined with my person and we got a
with
cute
your cat.
cat.
Yeah, and your cat.
That was the best. Look, good God, if we go into another lockdown, I'm getting another cat. I'm getting another animal. There's so much. They bring the like minute daily joys that they bring because I worked with animals. And so it was like, I never had one of my own because it was just like, no, I have to be ready to get up and go and tend to these animals whenever I want. So like just to have one in my house and to have it be mine is so different. And it's so much better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, technically, I guess Nubbin was I don't know why I put air quotes around Nubbin, but Nubbin was your dog. Sort of technically, but that was really just like the family dog.
I did buy him.
Oh yeah.
You know why I bought Nubbin? I bought him because he was discounted.
Oh, because he didn't have a tail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like a very poor college student and I was like, I'll take the cheap one, please.
Once again, that's our dad coming out in us. It's like, can I get a discount on this one? It doesn't have a full tail.
I remember one time.
This car doesn't have a bumper. Can I get a little bit of a discount on this?
I remember there was one time where I was still living at home. So I must have been in high school, but I was driving because I had my car. And I remember Dad wanted to buy me a tank of gas so that his coupon didn't expire. And I was just kind of like, but I pay for my own gas. So like, if you had not bought the gas and let the coupon expire, you would actually be spending less money than if you had bought me gas. But I was like, all right, buy me gas. I won't say anything. But he was like, no, must use this coupon.
I mean, that's why coupons work. Is you're like, I mean, that's why that's kind of why they do it is like, oh man, this expires. I better go back to this place that gave me this coupon and give them more of my money.
Except
that's smart.
CVS, like too many.
Oh yeah, get out of here.
The thing that I hate about the CVS receipts is I will buy eye drops and then it'll be like, here's $2 off eye drops. And I'm like, CVS, bitch, I just bought these.
Yeah.
I don't need any more.
Yeah, this isn't Costco. I'm not going to stock up right now.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through this entire bottle of eye drops in the 2 weeks that you've given me to purchase more.
Right. Yeah. Also, just make the product however much it costs. Just make it the right price. And like going to like the grocery store and having to put your number in, your phone number to actually get the discounts.
Mm-hmm.
Just make it the price that it's supposed to be, please. Can we just stop
Yeah.
with this? Can we just stop being children with this? And like, everything costs $5.99 or $5.95. So everyone's like, oh, it's only $5. Like, no, it's $6.
This is how capitalism works.
Not in Europe.
We must continue. No, just like we must continue to ask for more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's never going to be enough, and we always need a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Can I interest you in everything all of the time?
Totally.
Anything and everything all of the time.
Yeah, and I think like I feel a lot of like resistance to buying anything now that's not needed. In the sense of like, A, I'm being frugal, yes, but B, like I'm trying to be more conscious about like what I'm consuming and the waste that it produces and yada, yada, yada. But like that is still so hard for me to kick, because I feel like as kids, it was just like, yeah, if you want it, just get it. Like, like we were in that sort of environment. I don't want to say like keeping up with the Joneses, but like, you know, we were in a pretty affluent upper middle class neighborhood, and like, you know, and it just was like, yeah, if you want the thing, get the thing.
Yeah. I didn't really, I guess, take them up on that all that much. The only stuff I really spent money on, at least in like middle school and high school, was really just music stuff.
Oh my God. I remember after Dad died and I came home and I was like, all right, we're going to clean some of this shit out. I want to say it was over 50 pairs of shoes that I had given away. Some I had only worn once. I don't like it. I slipped into that, you know, girl mode of like, I love shoes.
Did you remember that video back in the day?
Let's get some shoes.
Oh my God, shoes.
Shoes.
That classic.
These shoes rule. Yes,
These shoes
like
suck.
That was when YouTube was just starting off, and there were
days.
so many gems.
Well, do you remember? Come over. We're gonna get the tree. Come over. We're gonna get the tree. Come on, make it even around the tree. Make it nice.
Was that the same person that did the Kelly shoes?
No. It was a different person.
Oh, okay.
That was like another video that like came out in like the mid to late 2000s, where it was just like, yeah, the internet's now like a YouTube, or YouTube is now a thing. And it was like one of the great, I think. Oh.
Come on, make it even. Make it nice.
I'll have to send you the actual video. It's fucking hilarious. It's a dude like with a wig on and like pretending to be just like a Long Island mother around Christmas, and just like, come on, make it even. Come on. If the box says decorations, that means it's for the tree. It needs to come down, okay? I
think YouTube really opened the door for like fun gender bending comedy.
It also opened up the door for a lot of hate on those people.
Sure
YouTube
did.
Opened up the door for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And back then, it didn't have commercials. That's what I missed the most. It never had commercials. And I would just watch like ski videos all day long, or just listen to music on YouTube.
Dude, I remember signing up for Hulu when Hulu was free.
Right.
Hulu was free and there were no ads.
You were also on the Netflix game back when it was just DVDs.
Hell yeah.
I remember that.
I think I was on like the 2 DVD a month plan, and I
think so.
As soon as I got one, I'd watch it and send it away, and then the next one would come. I had a whole system worked out.
Yeah. I was late to the train on that. I still don't have Netflix, technically.
Yeah, I remember when Netflix sent me the email that was like, we're going to be switching to all digital, and I would just be like, what is this bullshit?
This will never work. This is the dumbest idea. This is a terrible idea. None of this will ever work.
Yeah.
Cut to, it's bigger than any network that's on TV. Mm-hmm. It's bigger than TV itself. Like, yeah. I haven't had cable in close to a decade.
Well, it's also because cable price gouges you, and they
It's so
force you to get channels that you don't want. Like, if a cable company would let me just pick and choose the channels that I wanted, they would probably get my business, because then I would have everything that interests me and I would watch it constantly.
Right. Sorry, Danny just called me. I need to text him back real quick. Yeah, no, it's like again, we keep coming back to the Bo Burnham. It's the internet is just everything is at your fingertips whenever you want. Apathy is a tragedy and boredom is a crime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, that's what the world has turned into with social media and just with like streaming services and constantly having to have something playing all the time.
Mm-hmm. Or even the content that is on your television is not enough content to occupy you. And so you have to like scroll through your phone while you watch TV.
Yep. I try and make a rule of just one screen at a time.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at this
That's
screen,
smart.
as I'm sitting here literally in front of like 5 screens.
Yeah.
But that's different.
As you're on your phone while you are.
Well, I'm literally recording a podcast. And I have this screen going, which I don't really actually need up. And then I got the sound drop screen, and then I got this screen. And technically there's a little screen on the camera. There's too many screens. Yeah, but like, well, and that's, I think, increasing like the ADD of kids nowadays. And especially like, I'm worried about like the really young kids that grew up only on iPads and always having a screen, and like shitty parents that just, if the kid's being unruly or being sort of hyper, just throw a screen at them. And then our brains are naturally wired to just go, like, you see a screen, even babies are just naturally drawn to the screen because of the brightness and the colors and like, and I'm worried about the psychology of these kids when they grow up. Like, even sort of our generation, I think we were basically kind of the last group of people that didn't really have that all the time.
Yeah. And have you seen that? I mean, it's a Louis C.K. video. Obviously he's been Me Too'd, so he's, no longer relevant, some would say.
I think there's levels to the Me Too. What Louis C.K. did was not nearly as bad as like what other people have.
I mean, he's not Harvey Weinstein.
Exactly.
But you have to think less about the actions of what the person did and more about the effect on who it happened to.
For sure. And like, I get that.
But,
anyway, go ahead. We don't need to talk about the Louis situation.
Well, I was just going to say, he had a good point where he was just like, when you're on your phone and you write, fuck you, you're ugly, then you just put your phone down and you don't see the effect of that. But when you look at someone in the face and you say, fuck you, you're ugly, and you see the hurt in the person's face, which is ironic now that I think about it, that message is coming from Louis C.K., who like did not ask for consent on some of the things that he did. But yeah, it's just, I do think that phones are preventing like kids these days from developing that like emotional intelligence.
Saying this, that always makes me feel so old, but yeah, like I agree. Yeah, kids these days.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, and what's bonkers for me as a female is like to see that 30% of teenage girls are on diets now. Like more, like a high percentage of girls seek plastic surgery to look like filters on Instagram.
Right.
Like there's so it, and again, going back to Bo Burnham, that scene where he's just on the pillow, where he's like, where we like put our whole effort into these phones, that he's like, maybe that was like not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, it just sort of just increases the self-obsessed nature, and like that's what social media is designed for. I'm assuming you watched The Social Dilemma.
I didn't, because I know that it's going to freak me out, because I already know that my data is being mined at every avenue. And that's I knew that that's what Facebook was doing. That's why I got off Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm not off Instagram, and I understand that Instagram is owned by Facebook, and so like shame on me. But I've really curtailed my social media use, my sharing. I'm always like, is this worth it? Like, if I like this, is it worth it to give my data? Like, you know what I mean? I just like, I definitely take a second look at it.
Yeah, and I talked to Charlie about this not that long ago, and Charlie's just a computer nerd, and so he's just like, oh yeah, no, there's nothing you can do. Maybe if you actually like get a really good VPN, virtual private network, that keeps some of your stuff.
I work in tech. I know what a VPN is. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe the listeners don't, Brigid. Okay, we don't need that.
That's true.
Sass.
I'm very classist. I apologize.
You need to check your goddamn white privilege right now. Okay. No. Unless you have like a really good VPN, and even then, it's just like, yeah, no. This is the internet. Everything's out there. If somebody wants to find out anything about you, and like a hacker can do it. Like hackers can hack into Fort Knox. They can hack into the Pentagon.
They can hack into pipelines and shut down the global fuel economy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like my mantra recently has just been ride the wave. There's nothing you can do that's gonna. What are you gonna do? Stop the ocean? No, the wave's coming. Nothing you can do to stop it. Might as well just kind of ride it and see where it takes you. Because like at this point,
it's not like we're gonna go back to a non-technological world.
No, unless like an asteroid hits or Yellowstone blows up, like that could be a society-ending event.
Apparently, like a solar flare could like wipe out everything too.
That just happened a couple weeks ago. Apparently, is
a solar flare?
Yeah, a pretty gnarly solar flare came in and like temporarily blocked out a handful of satellites. I don't know how many, but it interfered with a lot of satellite communication. But yeah, a giant solar flare comes, all of the satellites are gone, and guess what? Then the internet's gone, and then guess what? When the internet's gone, all your money's gone.
I think about that all the time. Actually, I'm like, shit. Should I really start putting cash under my mattress?
Right. But even
like,
then,
I'm like everything is digital now. We are so screwed.
Yeah, somebody told me during the summer, one of my coworkers during the summer of 2020 was like, "Oh, cash is going to be a thing of the past." I was like, "That's a dumb idea," because when the internet truly goes down, I'm not saying if, I'm saying when the internet truly goes down, now you got no money. And Bill Burr had a joke. If you're the person who's like the prepper and stashing all this stuff, all you're doing is just gathering supplies for the biggest, meanest person with the biggest gun on the block. Now, I've been saying this for 10 years, and I've gotten into arguments with friends where, like, I think most people don't realize how unbelievably fragile our society is. And all it would take is just, if you just
a global pandemic.
Right. No, I mean, we sort of made it through that a little bit.
TBD. We're still working on it.
We're limping across. But all you would need to do is like, I mean, if you just get rid of the internet, society I don't think would crumble completely, but it'd be a fucking huge hiccup.
Oh no, I get big like Rick and Morty vibes of like, oh yeah, that like I don't know any of their episode titles because the episode titles are stupid, but
hilarious. They're so
they
funny.
make no. I can't connect
the Rick Morty and Mansionate or whatever. Yeah,
I can't connect, but like Rick the sort of like Date. Mad Max world episode of Rick and Morty, like that's what those are the vibes I get.
So I mean, all it would take is just if all electricity just stopped. If the grid just went off completely, everybody's fucked. Like, I grew up camping and backpacking. I couldn't sustain myself literally just in the wilderness by myself.
Dude, have you watched Alone?
Where they actually just drop people off.
Yeah, they just drop people off in Alaska and they're like, okay.
And all of those
hope you live.
Yeah, and all of those people are experts at surviving.
Yes.
And some of them quit within a week.
Yeah.
You think the average Joe Schmo is going to be able to fucking figure anything out? Joe
Mm-mm.
Rogan used to have an old bit on this. But like, how long would it take? So his idea was like, so what do you do when the power goes out? Me, personally, you know what I do? I sit and I wait for it to come back on. How long would it take before you finally realize that it's not coming back on? And then like you go out and meet everyone in the street with torches. Like, do you know how to fix the power? No, I don't know how to fix the power. Okay, we'll meet back here tomorrow. We'll try and figure out a plan. Like society would crumble.
Yeah.
And there's a big theory that might have happened at the end of the last ice age, which is very interesting to me.
What do you mean?
So according
That's
to
the second.
according to some people that it's sort of centered around the idea of like an Atlantis style society. Where there's so backing up a little bit, there's a growing amount of evidence that there was a comet or heavy meteor strike in North America that that killed off all the the megafauna in North America.
Mhm.
Like,
isn't the Gulf of Mexico where they think the asteroid hit that killed the dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one was supposedly into the ice sheet that was 1 mile to 2 miles thick that covered most of North America. Like the ice sheet used to come down into Minnesota and like basically cover all of Canada and most of northern US. So that's why there's no like crater per se. Although they did recently, within the past like 2 years or something, find a crater underneath the ice sheets in Greenland.
Oh.
Supposedly dates to around 12,600, 12,800 years ago, which is when the Younger Dryas started. And that's when the Ice Age ended. There's all these like proxies, like there's nuclear glass found in the same strata within the Earth that corresponds to the same date. There's a lot of potential evidence. I'm not going to try and get into all of it, but there's the theory that there might have been a somewhat advanced civilization that was populating the planet. And also in the Ice Age, all of the, not all of, but a significant higher portion of the water that's in the oceans was frozen and on top of the land. Comet strikes, that expels all of the water vapor into the air. It rains for thousands of years. And then where do most civilizations sort of gain their foothold? It's on the coastlines for trade purposes, being able to, that's usually where either on the mountain.
That's usually where you can sustain the most life.
Yeah, exactly.
On the coastline.
Yeah. And that's usually where civilization tends to crop up, either by rivers or by the ocean. And if the ocean level rises by 400 feet, very catastrophically, any civilization that would have lived there, most of them are going to be wiped out. And if it was an advanced civilization, and it's the idea is that there was a somewhat advanced, like they didn't have rocket ships or anything, but like a somewhat advanced civilization circa to like the Greeks or the Creations, or the Sumerians, or like a somewhat advanced society coexisted along with hunter-gatherers. And who's going to live through the apocalypse when there's no structure and no social or there's no society? It's going to be the hunter-gatherers. So they ended up settling. The few people that did survive settled with the hunter-gatherers and tried to rebuild society.
Well, have you heard like scientific accounts of what a meteor strike actually would be like? How like first the meteor comes in, but you actually you see black around the meteor because it's moving the atmosphere. Then
and it creates a corona like hole.
Yeah.
In the
then
sky.
The meteor strikes the ground, kicks up all of the earth and the dirt and the shit into the atmosphere, including silica. So then the silica gets into the atmosphere, but then it's so hot that it basically turns to molten glass, and then there is raining molten glass.
Yep, exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Well, and that's one of
the most terrifying thing.
That's one of the pieces of evidence that lead them to believe that this happened, is all of that nanoglass found throughout the world. And that's it's basically sand being melted. And then what happens is all that ejector gets left up in that upper atmosphere and causes nuclear winter. So basically what happens when you look at the climate models. Anybody listening, Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson are like the foremost kind of people putting this out there. Randall Carlson's the one who has like all the climatological data. But basically, when you look at the temperature is at 12,800 years before present, it spikes super high, and then it dips super low, and then it spikes super high one more time, and then it kind of stables out. So same kind of thing is like.
So maybe there were 2 asteroid strikes because
exactly.
there were 2. Okay.
It's like, and it's more likely that it's a comet, not an asteroid, because a comet, it still orbits the sun, but it comes in like sort of all together, and they were spaced out by about 1,200 years or so. So if the comet that hit us is sort of on that cycle already, maybe it broke up, parts of it hit us, and it continued on its orbital path, and then 1,200 years later, it came back again. So anybody who, and then also, this is where the idea of like Noah's flood and how every culture has a gigantic world-destroying flood.
Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense to me. And then it gets, society crumbles, and then, so for instance, like our society, we think we're so advanced. Anything that we have that's on computer and that's not literally written in stone is gone in 2,000 years. If we're just completely gone and we just let the earth take over, 2,000 years, all evidence, every computer, every microchip, everything that's quote unquote advanced gets broken down. And what you'd be left with would be something like the Washington Monument. And then, supposedly cut to 12,000 years when another advanced civilization finally comes, and they go like, what the fuck is this weird obelisk doing in the middle of the upper northeastern part of America? This is weird. And so that's like, the theory is that's potentially where like the pyramids come from. That's where the Sphinx comes from. I knew this was going to happen. Camera just cut off. I think I'm out of battery. So give me a sec. Let me change batteries.
Well, that's great because I have to pee. So we're going to do an intermission.
Perfect. All right, guys. That seems like a good stopping point. That's it for the episode. Check us out again next week. Do all the stuff that you're supposed to do. Do the likes, do the subscribes, do the follows, all that good stuff. And who knows, I might be starting to put out a little bit more content sort of in between our normal Wednesday schedule. So little mini episodes for you guys. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And otherwise, we will catch you guys again next week. Cheers. Thanks.